Okay, so we're going to light the candles for our Advent candles. Hope, peace, love, and today for joy.
Oh.
Sometimes it takes a second try to get our joy started up sometimes, right? Well, the good news is that the music team and I had already planned on doing lots of music today, so I don't have to talk a lot, which is awesome. Save some for tonight, right? But on the topic of joy, I mean, that's something that I think that we think we know a lot about, we probably do. And so in the Christmas story, the bringers of joy are the angels, right? Because we're bringing tidings of great joy. That's one of their lines. And of course, the shepherds, because they're hanging out in the fields. Am I supposed to hold it at the top or at the bottom?
Top.
Okay. Okay. So the shepherds are part of that experience of joy as well, right? Because they were out in the fields doing their normal shepherd thing. And then these angels came and said, hey, this thing that you all have been waiting for is happening. Messiah, we're assuming that these were Jewish shepherds. It doesn't actually say. But since they're excited about the coming of the Messiah, we're going to assume they're Jewish shepherds because, you know, they were the ones who were waiting for the Messiah. There's a few pieces missing in the story. So they're also are examples of joy in that there's something really inspiring about it. You know, we can be going about our normal everyday life. That's what the shepherds were doing, right? Going about their normal everyday life, and then we can have this revelation of understanding. It could be all sorts of things. I've had all sorts of revelations of understanding. They may not be like angels flying in the sky telling me that the whole world is changing. But my world was changing when I had these revelations. And that's something to be pretty excited about. And maybe a little scared, right? Because you can be like, wow, I'm not sure about that. Like we talked about Joseph last week about him being not fully on board right away. It's a little scary. And so the other thing I was thinking about as I was getting ready to do the meditation, thinking about, so this last day I've been really annoyed about coming down. I don't barely ever get sick. And so to get sick, like I said, Christmas, I've been kind of mad about it. And so it's sort of one of those things like Christmas time, like we talk about joy and love, and we have these great themes, the themes of Advent and all the sparkles and the things but you know, I think, and of course me being sick is not going to keep me from having a good Christmas, but we probably all had experiences ourselves or experiences of other people who've had really not great shiny Christmases. And it's okay to notice that and acknowledge that, even when we're talking about joy, because joy is not a surface level thing. Joy comes from deep within us. So even in the midst of sadness, I'm not going to cry, even in the midst of thinking about our loved ones who have passed, the joy stays there. Right? Remembering when you have the sniffles, you're more likely to cry. That's what I'm going to say. That's the story we're going to go with, right? Okay. Remembering that the consistency of the spirit that we are connected to happens no matter what's going on around us. That's a really important part of the Christmas to remember. When we're little, we're just like caught up in the excitement of trees and lights and Santa and all of the. I got to pet a reindeer this year. That was pretty awesome. I was pretty excited, but as we get older, life gets more complicated, right? And so that joy doesn't go away. We just get to have grown-up joy, which understands at a much deeper level than we did as children. It doesn't go away. So we have a song. This was the plan, was write some songs in the middle of the service. Like I said, works out really well for someone with the sniffles. Except for I don't get to sing, which is kind of a bummer to me too. But anyway, I'll get over it. So we have a song. This is Go Tell It on the Mountain. That's totally a joy song, right? It's a very exciting song. It's about shepherds and the excitement of what's happening. So it's a perfect song for joy, I think. So take it away, music team.
Behold, throughout the heavens there shone a holy light. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. The shepherds feared and trembled when low above the earth rang out the angels' chorus, then hailed our Savior's birth. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born. Down in a lowly manger, our humble Christ was born, and God sent us salvation, that blessed Christmas morn. Go tell it on the mountain, over the hills and everywhere. Go tell it on the mountain that Jesus Christ is born.
I love that part when you go, oh, that part is my favorite part. There's a part like that in 3 Kings too, where you get to do a pause and slide. I like it. You like the Gloria that goes on forever and ever and ever and ever. Yes. That's a fun one too. So now that we've got to the end of Advent being our journey to Christmas, it's kind of a bummer when the last week of Advent falls on a Sunday like it does this year, because we don't have, like, this is the week of joy and then bam, tomorrow's Christmas. So we don't get like a little time to hang out in that spot. But we can still make that choice, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the question I asked at the Christmas class this week, and I'm going to ask y'all to think about is, at the end of the Christmas Carol, Scrooge goes, "I'm going to keep Christmas all year long." The true spirit of Christmas, right? He says that at the end, something like that. Depends on which version you're watching. So the question for us in our, practical spiritual path is to ask that question: how do we keep the feelings of Christmas all year long? How do we keep the hope and faith of the beginning of the season? How do we keep the peace, the love, the joy? How do we keep those as our touchstones throughout the year when maybe we forget about the good news of that divine spark that's within all of us that we celebrate at Christmas, exemplified by Jesus, who did it really, really well. But we all have it, right? We all have the divine spark. And so that's the next step. That's the next step of Christmas. After tomorrow, and we Skype with our loved ones who are overseas, and or wherever they are, and we do all of those things, and then we start thinking about putting away the Christmas trees and all. I don't know about you, but I won't be taking out my lights anytime soon. But when we start doing all those things, how do we keep Christmas all year long? That's the real story of the Christmas Carol, right? To realize that Christmas is a feeling beyond December. So, because really Christmas, it means Christ Mass, so it's the Mass about the Christ. You all knew that already, I'm sure, but now you know it again in case you didn't. So, we have one other song, and then we have another song, and then, and a couple more songs, I think. The right usual ending stuff. So, that's all I have to say about that. So, come on up.